After a little over a week of Season 2 being out, we have received a hotfix that makes some adjustments to some of the heroes that have been a complete menace to deal with in Season 2. Those heroes being Doomfist, Orisa, Ramatra, Sojourn, Tracer, Ana, and Kiriko. Roadhog didn't end up getting any adjustments, but apparently they're looking at giving Roadhog some sort of soft rework that might come in the next mid-season patch. Which honestly makes a ton of sense, because Roadhog is absolutely broken, and in order to fix his kit, they're going to need to spend some time playtesting and making the proper adjustments, because they don't want to end up making him completely useless. So let's get on with the patch notes, starting with Doomfist. Doomfist is getting his rocket punch cooldown increased from 3 to 4 seconds. So what does this mean? Well, while Doomfist punches in to engage or slams in, he's going to take longer to smack you around, as well as take longer to disengage. 1 second might not sound like crazy change, but Doomfist enthusiasts will probably find themselves caught a bit off guard thinking that they can punch much sooner to engage or disengage. So less time to be annoying from smacking you around, and more risk, more reward kind of puts him in a more controlled state in my opinion. Now, Power Block, minimum damage mitigated required to empower Rocket Punch, increased from 80 to 100 damage. So this is going to take Doomfist longer to get an empowered punch and make it so he has to take an extra 20 more damage. So this is a pretty big nerf, because not only will he be able to punch much less now, he has to stand there and block longer as well, making him more of a sitting duck. And they also reduce his passive, the best defense, by 5 health. So when he lands abilities, he'll be getting healed a tad bit less. So overall, in my opinion, I think that these are pretty good nerfs, because he was a bit crazier to deal with before the hotfix, and this makes Doomfist not terribly broken, but still a good pick if you plan on playing him. So next up we have Orisa. So Terra Surge now pierces through barriers upon impact, and Augmented Fusion Driver damage fall off range increased from 15 to 25 meters. So now you are not safe from Orisa's ultimate. A barrier will not save you. So if your hero lacks a bit of mobility, it might be lights out for you. And now that Orisa's left click has 10 more fall off range, you can expect to take much more damage from her. So she has good damage resistance and is much more lethal, so this is a pretty good buff to Orisa. Next up we have Ramatra. So Nemesis form movement speed increased by 20%, armor bonus increased from 150 to 225, and Void Barrier cooldown reduced from 15 to 13 seconds. So let me just tell you now, Ramatra is pretty speedy while he's in his Nemesis form. So before this change, the way you would play Ramatra is to do a bit of poke with his Omnic form, maybe throw a barrier to mitigate some damage, but then you would pop Nemesis form and pretty much just block. But now that Ramatra is pretty speedy, you can run in the backline and chase down those targets that you otherwise probably would have been able to get to. And having his shield go from 15 to 13 seconds is a nice quality of life change, because I thought that his barrier was on a pretty big cooldown, so having it up faster will be nice to mitigate a bit of damage and probably feel nicer as well, since his other cooldowns are around the same time. So Sojourn, the hero that everyone pretty much wanted to get nerfed to the ground, got some pretty big nerfs. So starting off with her railgun, so primary fire spread increased by 28%. Then her disruptor shot no longer slows enemy movement, and her power slide cooldown increased from 6 to 7 seconds. So Sojourn is now going to be a hero that needs to be more up in your face to gain any significant charge. She will no longer be able to chill in the backline and spam to get charged for an easier right click, which in my opinion was the right move to make when nerfing her railgun, because a right click was an ability that was extremely terrible to play against, and now that it's going to be tougher for her to right click, that means that Sojourn will be using right click much less, since charge is a bit more valuable, and picking out targets is going to be much more of a priority, because wasting right click could just lose a ton of value. So disruptor shot no longer slowing is so nice, because it already did a decent bit of damage, and when Sojourn decided to dive you, she could just combo the slow with the right click and you're pretty much a goner. But now you have a much better shot at winning the 1v1 or just getting out. And having Sojourn's mobility on a lesser cooldown is just nice in my opinion, because sometimes it felt like she's just flying across the map a little too much. So Tracer has had her pulse pistols damage reduced from 6 to 5.5. So I think this is a pretty good nerf to Tracer, because when her damage is at 6 per bullet, she was doing a lot of damage. But when her damage is at 5 per bullet, it felt like she wasn't doing any damage, so I think this is a good way to like even Tracer out. So Ana has had a pretty significant buff. Her biotic rifle damage and healing increased from 70 to 75, and her biotic grenade effect duration increased from 3 to 4 seconds. This means that not only will Ana be healing for more, she'll be dishing out much more damage, and having that 5 extra damage is actually pretty significant because she can now 2-tap a flanking tracer that's trying to give her a hard time in the backline, as well as 3-tap heroes like Cassidy to have 225 health. Now, Biotic Nade duration going from 3 to 4 seconds is actually a huge buff because having the duration last 1 second longer means that she can not only heal for much more per shot, anti will also last 1 extra second, which can be really deadly and pretty much always secure a kill. Now, this change would be super busted, but we have Kiriko, so she could pretty much just cleanse the anti, so it won't be as strong as it might seem. However, Kiriko's Suzu actually ended up getting nerfed as well, but very, very slightly. So Suzu's invulnerability duration actually ended up getting reduced from 1 second to 0.85 seconds. So it's a super slight nerf. I don't think we'll really see a change or really see a difference, but hey, it's there. So that's the end of the video, everyone. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know your guys' thoughts on these hotfix changes. I know that I'm actually kind of excited for them. I feel like it's going to make the game much, much better to play, but who knows? We still need more games to play. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.